She couldn't leave her babies, so she huddled them into the corner, and she got big as a mother mouse can be, and surrounded her babies and were protecting her babies. And that tomcat got that look in his eye that went, oh, lunch. And he's coming down the hall, and that mother mouse is just, stay behind me, stay behind me, stay behind me. And just as that tomcat is about to launch onto that mouse and her babies, that mama mouse stood up on her hind legs and said, ruff, ruff, ruff.
That worked?
Totally startled the tomcat. He turned around and ran away. She went, turned around and said to her babies, it is very important, and there is very much value in knowing a second language. Since you're already giggling with the babies. But I love that story for so many reasons. The basis of today's talk is, what is the most important question? And maybe the most important question is, what language do you know? Do you know dog? Do you know baby? Do you know cat? Do you know positive? Or do you know worry and anxiety and fear? Because when we can kind of step back and begin to notice what we notice about our lives and about our thoughts, we can discover some really interesting things. So along lines with the babies, right? What is the child's most favorite question of all? Why? 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 Why, Mama? Why, Grandma? Why? Why? But why? But why? Like for, 38 hours straight, right? When they're about 3 and 4. Why? Even when they're teenagers. No, you can't do that. Why? Because I said so. Right? We all, I'll speak for myself. I said, I'm never going to be one of those mothers that says, because I said so. Never say never. It's a guarantee. Even with the grandkids, I'm not going to say that to them. I'm going to communicate with them, right? Why? Because I said so. Because I'm tired of your questions, right? But when we think about the questions that we ask, we can discover some really interesting things. So, based on your results in your world, in your life and in our world, right? We all have results. We all have exactly the amount of success and the exact amount of health and the exact amount of love that we have. And we see on the news, we have the exact amount of news reported as we have reported. And we see in our world, and we see with the climate, and we see with the changes in the weather, and we see with all kinds of things. We have results in the world. What we do with those results can actually change them. But the results in your world, the results in your experience are, if they're not what you want, right? Most of us are, looking around the room thinking, we're pretty happy, we got some good lives going, right? But if it's not what you want, then perhaps it's because the questions you're asking are not the right questions. Go, wait, what? That's my favorite question. I love it when my clients and my students go, wait, what? Together. Wait, what? Wait, what? What? You just messed with my brain. I'm like, yeah, I did my job. Because I'm not here to make you feel better. You might think I'm here to make you feel better. You're not here even to feel better. I'm here to help you grow, to help you evolve, to help you change in consciousness. Because if you're totally happy with your life, that's fabulous. You don't need to change anything. But if you're not continuing to expand and grow in awareness and grow in consciousness, we are either, by science, either growing or dying. We are either evolving or devolving. We are either expanding or contracting. And when we get contracted, that's where we get stuck. Because contraction happens. When contraction happens, everything shuts down. Our body systems shut down, the energy flow shuts down. It's not that anything on the outer shuts down. It's that we've blocked the flow. So the most important question, according to my buddy Einstein, is, slide Bob please. Einstein says the most important question you can ever ask is if the world is a friendly place. Now, I've been playing with this question in the last week or two. We've been thinking about this talk, so I've been asking people. We were out at an event last night at Balboa Pavilion, some outdoor music, and I just was talking to the people we were with, and they said, well, what are you talking about tomorrow? And I said, well, is the world a friendly place? Actually, I forgot, and I said, is the world a safe place? And they went, well, yeah, no. And I said, well, that's very interesting. But I said it wrong. Is the world a friendly place? And they go, wait, what? Wait, what? I was talking to a colleague yesterday about our talks. We like to talk about what we're talking about and steal each other's material. So you actually get double talks right now. You know, one in Merced and one here, and we've anyway. Long story. Doesn't matter. But she's like, wait, what? Let's think about that. And when you think about the question, when you think about any question with an open mind, you're actually opening your mind to discover something new and different. So Einstein goes on to say, basically, if you believe the world is not a friendly place, then all of science, of course he was talking about science, all of science is going to be focused on building walls, keeping ourselves safe, protecting ourselves from anything in the universe. Can you see how we maybe are doing some of that in our lives? Let's just go lives, let's not go world, because we don't want to, go too far out there, right? Or if we don't believe the universe is friendly or that it's not friendly, then we're just sort of a pawn in God's plan. And, in New Thought, we don't necessarily believe that. We believe that we're co-creators. But, he said, if we believe that the universe is a friendly place, then science will create technology for more opening, for more connection, for more expansion, for more curiosity, because there's nothing to fear. And so we take that from Einstein, who was a fabulous scientist, but actually besides being a scientist, he was a creative, he was an artist. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. That's why he was so far out there, right? Because his brain worked as an artist brain, not as a theory-based brain. Let's see if I can speak. And the artist brain, he said, I think in music. I plan in music. I daydream in music. If I weren't a scientist, I'd probably be a musician. And so his brain is a creative brain. And what we know now about our subconscious is that our subconscious is unconscious. That goes without saying, right? We understand that. But when we are caught, when we live unconsciously, which we do historically and scientifically proven about 99.9% of the time, we are living in the past. But a creative mind, a mind active in this now moment, opens to a new possibility. It leaves the subconscious and opens into the unknown. Many of us, myself included, particularly in years past, I want to know. Do you know what I'm talking about? I want to know. I need to know. I don't like the unknown. I love the unknown now because it's accessed a whole different place in my being. But Rob will tell you, when we were first together, 12, 13 years ago, I'm like, I can't stand not knowing. It's like, let's let it flow. I'm like, no, I want to know. No, I want to know. What's it going to look like? What's it going to be like? I want to guarantee. Right? It doesn't work like that. And the more you want to guarantee, the more you want to know, the only thing you can know is what you already know. Wait, what? The only thing you can know is what you already know. And if you are willing to get into a place where you do not know, then you actually can open into the infinite possibilities that we know are available to us. So we have to, one of the favorite things I say to my clients, we have to get delusional. We have to quit paying attention to what is. We have to quit paying attention to the little r reality, to the facts, and we don't ignore that, but we quit giving it any value. Because as much as we keep our attention there on what we already know, then what are we going to get? We're going to get what Joe Dispenza calls the predictable future, based exactly on who we've always been. But if we can open our mind with a question that opens even just a little tiny glimmer, a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of something new, a glimmer of something different, then that's a doorway into the infinite mind, the mind of infinite possibilities, the mind of unknown. The mind, when you access that point and you land in that point, then you become you can become very consciously co-creative. What do you want in the world? What do you want in your life? What excites you? And we get delusional because we quit paying attention to what disturbs us. And we quit paying attention to what worries us, and we quit paying attention to the trauma, and the gossip, and the, oh, but you don't know, and you don't know how bad it is, and you don't know what he said, and you don't know what she said, and let me tell you about what he said and what she said, and I can't believe that happened, and you feel how that goes, it's like blah, 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 and everything in your being contracts in that. And when you are contracted, right, you stuck. Now, there's nothing wrong with being contracted, and there's nothing wrong with going through things that are hard, because that's part of life on the planet. But what I'm talking about is that habituated mental state that results in the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again. We are like these automatons. Like, we walk up and like somebody says, hello, how are you? And that button gets pushed and here comes the recording. But what if we could just stop and really access the present moment? And go, let me check in. Now, you don't have to take like 20 minutes and say, oh, let me get back to you on that. Although that's a very good thing to say when somebody asks you a question and you don't have a response. Oh, let me get back to you on that. So I was playing with this question and doing some research, and the very next thing that came up was the amount of study and the amount of reference directly and indirectly to this question. So next slide, please, Bob. And this is Eckhart Tolle. And Eckhart Tolle said, he's talking about, is the universe friendly? And then he says, but the question right below that is, what is my relationship with the present moment? And you see what we just did? Is the universe friendly? I don't know, I'm feeling a little stressed. This happened and that happened, and I got caught in the traffic, and I got some news from somebody, and somebody close to me got a diagnosis, and when life happens, because life is going to always happen, but Eckhart said this in particular, when you are noticing that you are stressed or anxious or worried, when you are less than completely expanded into oneness, into love, into light, when you are less than completely expanded and in the flow of life, ask yourself this question, another powerful question. What is my relationship to the present moment? And what you will find very often is that if you are stressed or worried or anxious, you actually are not even in the present moment. Because to be present in the present moment, like just land there now. I can feel you're all going like, wait, what? Wait, what? But land there, like come right here to this present moment. Like disengage even your mind from listening to my words and feel the truth behind them. If it feels true for you, run with it. If it doesn't, let it go. Do something else. But feel when you land in the present moment, several things happen. Your breath can change. Your body can change. Your mind, well, it's not like your mind quits running, right? Because many of us have tried meditating, trying to control our mind, but you disengage from your mind. Like your mind can still be running up here like the clouds flowing by or whatever, but you disengage from your mind to land in the present moment. And in the present moment, there is absolutely nothing you need. In the present moment, there is absolutely nothing that you need. Now you might want to argue that. I can feel it. I can feel you arguing. And that's good. But think about it. Play with it. Seriously, right now in this now moment, is there anything that I absolutely need in order to be loved, in order to be light, in order to be safe, in order to trust that this moment is a friendly moment? Somebody said, it's kind of a little bit of a joke. It's like, I wouldn't want somebody walking down the streets of my mind because it's a really scary space, right? So imagine for a moment, imagine that your world, that your life, that our world is a friendly place. Imagine that you're out on a beautiful beach. That's my go-to place, right? And the sun is warm and the breeze is cool and the surf is that perfect surf and the colors are stunning. And the experience of hearing the surf and smelling the ocean and being with my bare feet in the sand. And there is absolutely nothing on my mind. And in that moment, the universe is a very friendly place, right? Can you feel that? But then imagine this. It's nighttime. You're in a strange city. You're walking down a dark alley. There's some really weird noises at the end of the alley, like somebody's howling or an animal's howling and the people are fighting. And can you feel like the tension that builds when you don't know that it's a friendly place? And some of that might be wisdom, some of that might be reaction, but it's like freaking scary in that place. And it's like, feel the contraction, and in that moment, there is no way in the world that you can know or trust that the universe is a scary place because you've got to get out of there, and you want to get out of there alive and unharmed, right? Can you feel that? In that moment, you have no access to the belief, to the possibility that the universe is a friendly place. So the work then becomes to work with your mind, to work with your belief. How can you begin to move into a knowing that the universe is friendly? There was a story that Dennis Waitley talked about in the movie The Secret. He talked about a man who was super successful financially, and at one point he had put all of his eggs in one basket, so to speak, and that stock crashed and he lost everything like in a moment, like gone, done. He had his family, he still had his health, he had a sales business that was doing okay, but all of his investments were boom, gone. And then over the next year, his sales started to go down, his health started to go down, there started to be chaos and trauma in the family, like everything was falling apart. And he had enough knowing about spiritual truth principles that one day he kind of was, throw up his hands and goes, what is going on here? And in that moment, he hit his knees and he had an epiphany. He said, I know what's going on here. I am completely focused on everything's going away. Everything's diminishing. Everything's falling apart. That's where I'm putting all of my energy because I'm believing that the universe is unfriendly and it's all being taken away from me. See the victim in that moment? But his realization caused him to hit his knees and turn himself around. And on his knees, he came into conscious gratitude. And he spent 20 minutes twice a day in conscious gratitude, not just listing off the list. You know how we do that. We all, many of you probably have had gratitude practices, and after a while it's like, yeah, I'm grateful, and just like hit the record button and there's the list. That's fine, but what's powerful is if you can feel the gratitude. It's like, wow, you know what? Look at the day. Look at the people who are here in this room. Look at these faces. The sun is out. I mean, hello, for me, Miss Sun person, right? The sun comes out, I'm automatically happier. I don't notice that I'm less happy when the sun doesn't come out until it comes out, and then I'm happier. Like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good day today, right? And feeling vibrationally, because that's what it's really about, feeling that gratitude, feeling all of the good, all of the blessings that you do have. And you know, it's said, studies say, you know, if we woke up with a roof over our head and in a soft bed and had breakfast, we are like of the, top, 1%. We are blessed. We are so blessed and we don't even know it. But when we can activate that gratitude on a conscious, regular basis, the expansion happens. Things begin to turn around. It's said in the story, Dennis tells a story, it was less than 2 years later, that man had every dime he lost back and more. His sales business was revitalized. His family was back in love and appreciation. His health got better and better and better. He says it's because of his gratitude practice. But in his gratitude practice, he began to discover and live from the belief that the universe is a friendly place. That we are spiritual beings and we have access to spiritual power. And as soon as we become conscious in this present moment, as soon as we become conscious in this present moment that yes, the universe is friendly, and yes, I am blessed, and yes, I am gratitude, and yes, I would love this and that and the other thing, and I'm grateful even before it shows up, then the universe conspires in our favor. The universe sweeps in and says, yes, here you are. But what happens when your Zen place collides with life? Right? I'm talking about you're all Zened out, you've had great meditation, you've done your gratitude, and like, I'm in a good space. And like my friend I was talking to the other day, and she's driving, and she's all Zened out. She's like, I had a better meditation I've had in a long time. I'm like so in the flow, so present, and nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And she pulled into this parking lot. Actually, I was talking to her on the phone when it happened. And she's like, that guy should never be trying to park that big truck in that some small spot. And I'm like, just listening. And she's talking about how zened out she is, right? Oh, that girl, I can't believe that girl. She's just walking through the middle of the parking lot on her cell phone, not paying a bit of attention to anything at all. I said, well, maybe that girl's all zened out. She goes, oh no, I think she's in her pain body. She's not paying any attention, right? And I'm like, can we talk about this? She's like, oh my God, that's a great story for Sunday. Are you going to use it? I said, I'm totally going to use it. She goes, I'm going to use it too, right? When we are centered, we have access, we have the capability of choosing how to react. When we are aligned in the present moment, we have a choice about how we respond. When we are stuck in the subconscious, that's when that automatic happens. That automatic anger, that automatic fear, that automatic judgment, that is all indications that you're not in the present moment and that you believe the universe is not friendly. So notice what you notice. Choose again. Interrupt the pattern, choose again. I choose to know that everything's happening for my good and my greater good. I choose to believe that the universe is a friendly place. And I'm going to start with me. Because when I know the universe is a friendly place, I'm more open, I'm more kind, I'm more compassionate, I'm more allowing. And when I forget and I slip back into my judgmental, reactive mode, which does happen, once in a while. I'm not going to tell you more than that, but just know for yourself, right? Life happens. And I can land in the present moment. Joe Dispenza talks about present moment is access to everything. When you're in the present moment, your biochemistry changes, your neurology changes, your chemical cocktails that are coursing through your body change instantly. And every time you can interrupt the habit and the pattern of the survival emotions and realize that you are a divine being of God, and you live in a friendly and safe universe, and you are completely cared for in this moment, everything can change. This is what our world needs. We don't need the world out there to change, because we only see what we believe anyway. But when we can change, and we can be more kinder, and more compassionate, and more loving, and more accepting, and more in oneness of ourselves, of each other, of every person on the planet, that's when the magic will begin to happen. That's when you begin to see things you can't see from a survival place. And you begin to notice all the amazing good. All, every day, everywhere. You begin to turn off the CNN news channel, the constantly negative news. Last time I said that, somebody called me on that. It's like, that's just an acronym for me, okay? CNN is constantly negative news. I'm not picking on the CNN actual channel, except a little bit in jest, right? But turn off that constantly negative news and come into looking for the good, looking for the blessings, looking for the abundance, looking for the love. And you will find it. So my question to you, do you believe that the universe is a friendly place? And if you do, celebrate it, expand it, lean into it. And if you don't, simply notice what's going on and do the spiritual work to come into the present moment, to allow whatever is happening to happen, to separate from it in a way that brings you a little relief, and a little relief, and a little relief, because that will open you to a peace that passes understanding, to a love that surpasses all things. And that's how the world will change. Let's know together that the world is a friendly place, that the universe is a friendly place, that the Center for Spiritual Oneness is a friendly place, that your own mind, your own life is a friendly place. And when we take a stand for that, we take a stand for love. God bless you.